All right, Gloria.
Yeah, so I have the pleasure of letting everyone know that I am joining today from the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. These nations and this land are subject to the dish with one spoon wampum between the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee. And they're also subject to Treaty 13, known as the Toronto Purchase and the Williams Treaties. These are agreements to peaceably share and care for the land and resources of Toronto. And they're about relationships with the land and with each other, and about shared resources and responsibilities. So I wanted to start with that. And I think we'll skip over whatever the next slide is, which is typically within the Ontario Digital Service, we have a code of conduct, but it was great to hear yours this evening. I want to thank you for inviting Trev and I to present to you about the Digital and Data Innovation Fellowship program tonight. I think we'll start with a bit of just an overview of the Ontario Digital Service, which I think is an organization that some of you may already be familiar with on the next slide. We are within the Ontario Public Service. We're a digital organization there, but we are also trying to make the whole Ontario Public Service see themselves as a digital organization. And what we've really been doing the last couple of years is applying internet era culture and practices to government. That's not new to you. We do this in a number of ways. About half of our organization is just focused on delivery and building user-centered products and platforms, reusable components, et cetera. And then about the other half of our organization is dedicated to doing that kind of digital transformation, the culture change, capacity building, governance, and also policy. To help move the Ontario Public Service along, to make them think like a more digital organization. And that's really the side that Trev and I come from, is really working internally to help ministries on their own digital transformation journeys. So the program that we're going to share about tonight is just a natural sort of extension of the kind of multi-year journey that we have been on. And we'll get to the program once we've sort of shared a bit more about the ODS, and I'm about to hand it over to Trevor. But essentially, what we're sharing about tonight is just an opportunity to partner with you, with your organizations, your networks as well, to start bringing some more of that digital and data talent into the OPS, and to support some of our key digital projects that we will also share more about. So with that, I'll hand it over to Trevor.
Sure, thanks, Gloria. So just to talk a little bit about what the Digital Fellowship Program is number one, this is a pilot program. So this is the first year that we're offering this. With the way that the ODS works, we work through Agile, we work through an iterative approach. So we're actually building this out sort of as we go a little bit, and we're going to be taking a look at how we can iterate on it in the future. So earlier this year, because like with all things with government, it had to be tied to some sort of action plan or something big, like some big announceable, we launched Ontario's first digital and data strategy, and it included a commitment to create this program. And really what we want to do is we want to try to bring in folks from outside of government to bring their expertise in to help us build up how we do things in government, while still giving back to those folks sort of that insider view of how we actually do things, how things actually work, so that we can work better with those outside of the provincial government. Now, what happens in this program is that the fellow will actually work directly with a ministry team for a set amount of time. And really, we're looking to do this within the province only. So we've had a number of folks from all over approach us, even since we've announced about a week ago that this was going on, asking us, can I join? Can somebody, join from New York? Can somebody join from the UK? Those sorts of things. This really is for businesses and organizations within Ontario and organizations that are operating in Ontario. So what we're looking to do is we're looking through this program to place about 6 to 10 expert practitioners, that are experts as DevOps engineers, senior backend developers, product managers, user experience designers, service designers, data specialists, in with folks. So basically all of those digital skills that are in high demand in the private sector and are becoming even higher demand in the public sector as well. And our pilot rotation is set to launch in February of this year. And we expect it to last about 6 months, but there's a little bit of flexibility there depending on the project that the fellow works on. And for those projects, there's 4 that we've actually highlighted that are projects that the fellow would be able to make a really big impact on. And those placements are with the Ministry of the Attorney General, with their courts transformation initiative. And we're looking for a product manager and a data specialist to help them actually to digitize and connect the courts at several levels. It's a very big job. And they've got a really clear vision for how they can actually create a better experience for users of that system, both the courts that use the systems, but also the people that enter the court system as well. The Ministry of Northern Development, Mines, Natural Resources, and Forestry, try saying that 10 times fast. They're trying to modernize their services as well. Right now, most of their licensing services, most of their permits and applications are paper-based. And they actually want to get as many as possible online to make it easier for people. So whether it's getting a hunting license or a fishing license, or finding out if you can change the shoreline near your home, or anything else like that, they want to make it easy for folks to be able to do that. And they're looking for a service designer and a product manager to help there. Yeah, Dave, it's MNMRM. Yeah, exactly, that one. And then the Ontario Digital Service, which is where we're from, we've actually highlighted digital identity as a program that could really use some help with this. And of course, as you know, digital identity is things like being able to prove that you are who you are online. A lot of people think about it as like the digital wallet, being able to have your driver's license or other proof of ID in your wallet. And that's only part of it. It's a much bigger project than that. They're looking for backend developers and DevOps engineers to help with this, basically to build the framework, the digital framework the government uses to verify who's who. And last but not least, and this one is a really interesting one for me, the Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Rural Affairs, or OMAFRA, as most of us know them, are doing a compliance modernization project. So what a lot of people don't know is that OMAFRA actually has RCO, which is a regulatory compliance organization that trains all of the province's inspectors and all of the province's officers. And what they're actually looking to do is they're looking to use digital tools to update the way that their inspection and compliance programs work, which is really cool. So it's something that's really good both for the ministry, for business, and for end users, because it's cutting down on a lot of time between an inspection happening and a place potentially having to close or having to have a remediation, and making sure that that's super clear. So they're protecting not only the food that we eat, they're also protecting livestock and others as well, which is really kind of cool. So we announced this on November 25th. The minister announced it up in Canada. And we announced that we were going to be choosing our fellows through a 2-stage process. That's going to end, which is the deadline is actually the end of this week, December 10th. The first is to put an application in. We're asking for businesses to put a nomination in. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a sole proprietor or practitioner, you can nominate yourself, of course, for this as well. And then what we will do is we'll actually screen those applications, and it's a really simple application. It's like, I think like 15 questions, takes about 12 minutes. We just ask for links to things. We don't ask you to write an essay, anything like that. And then we screen that to see if the person is suitable. And from there, what we do is we shortlist, and we actually do an interview with the person. So we sit down and we talk to you about your interest in the projects that are available. We talk to you about your experience, and we try to do a 1-for-1 match with the ministries that you would be working with as well, to make sure that you have a really good experience with this. And of course, through the fellow process, through the fellowship, the Ontario government would pay your salary. So what this is it's what we call in the public service a secondment from your position into government. So you would still hold on to your role at your company. You would still get your benefits, everything else like that, but you would come in and we'd pay your salary during that time. So here's the timeline. Once again, we launched on the 25th. Applications are closing on the 10th. Now, one thing I will note is that there has been a lot of interest in this, so there is the potential for that application date to shift, just based on the number of applications we're receiving. So it could be a little bit later, so stay tuned on that. And we're hoping to complete the selection process, working things out with business on that's a common agreement, everything else like that, by the end of January, so that we can have people hitting the ground running in February and working throughout the spring with our teams. So that is our program, sort of in a nutshell. Does anybody have any questions about this?